the 7:30 hour kicking off. We had a game that was hotly debated on this podcast last week. Mr. Wellbrock here taking up the banner for the 5 o'clockers.
They were not going to disappoint me this week.
And then Mr. Brent Wentworth standing up for his boys on Shake and Bake. Brent, tell us a little bit about what went down.
This is a good game, man. This is the type of game that I live for. I'd say that it was back and forth the entire time. The Clockers came out. We got into a bit of a jam in the first inning, but just when it looked like we were going to get out of it, we had 2 outs. Alan Walker came up and just laced a line drive right into center field and drove in a couple runs. So we were down 2-0. We fought back. Actually went into the 5th inning. We scored. So we tied it up in the 2nd inning with a couple of. We had a good rally ourselves with 2 outs. Got the 2 runs in there. So it was 2-2. We scored a run in the 5th to put us ahead. But then I tell you, man, started to hear a little bit of trash talking on that other sideline. we started glancing around.
All right, man.
We were like, oh my god, are we gonna beat the Clockers? Is this really gonna happen? Oh my god! And it was. I tell you, I discounted it, but fuck. They got on our heads. And sure enough, man, in that bottom of the 5th inning, we gave it up. Actually, I'd say the 5 o'clockers did a good job of executing their offense. And Paul Fan, one of their veteran players, one of the original 5 o'clockers, he came through with a big clutch kick to drive in the run, and they came away with the tie. So I'd say, the 2 of the best teams in the league squared off, and it was back and forth, and I thought it was a very well-played game by both sides. So I think 3-3. I think, Nathaniel, you predicted a 2-2 tie in the podcast, where it ended up being 1 run better by each side.
Yeah.
So good game. I hope we get to see him again. I guess I say that every week when we have a close game. Say what? I mean, I'd love to see him again.
I tell you what, man. Go ahead, Nate.
Oh, no. If you, no, I want to let this thing work itself out.
No,
I just sit out for these.
No, it's all good. If you're a fan of kickball, if you've been in this kickball league for multiple years, this is a game that you love to watch play and unfold. 5 o'clockers and Shake and Bake, a lot of veterans on the team. And like Brent alluded to last week with a championship experience on his team and 5 o'clockers and their cohesiveness and shit talking on the field, and I sense a little sarcasm from you in that laptop.
No, man, I'm pissed running down my shorts. I was nervous.
But yeah, I mean that's what happens. I mean, that game 3-3, and you predicted it correctly. I wasn't gonna go against the 5 o'clockers for 3 weeks in a row.
I do gotta give a shout out. I had got up twice that game. Both times I had runners on third base. The first time, I ripped a nice line drive that Dan Reyes just snagged on the mound to save some runs. And then the next time, really could have broken the game open, but Courtney Eford, she made a nice running catch right below her knees to rob me. So the Clockers robbed me twice.
Hey, that's experience unfolding right there. So, like you said, you guys will meet again. It will be in the playoffs. It'll be fun to watch that game when all is on the line. Either go home or go on,
It could be a finals preview.
Could be a potential finals preview, absolutely.
Speaking of that finals equation coming together, it got a little more muddled again this week when JFK came back big with a 4-1 win over the Burning Bridges.
Yeah.
Never count them out, you know.
Don't count out the Brian Freed-led JFK squad. Daniel Shaw, the Condor, pitching some good stuff, and obviously pitching some good stuff. Only allowing Burning Bridges to have 1 run up on the scoreboard. Just a consistent team that's just working hard. They had that little bump in the road in the first week, but I feel like they're going to get their stuff together and just gel over time. Freed does a good job of acquiring players when he loses some people to go, maybe to other teams or, stop playing for WAKA, but he gets them back together, gets that cohesiveness going, and I really watch out for him coming into the latter part of the season. We're going right up towards the midpoint here in a couple of weeks. So look for JFK to really be turning on the heat coming in May.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting result for such a high-profile game. I really didn't hear a lot about it, but clearly a 4-1 result shows that JFK, they brought it. So it's cool how the teams at the top just kind of trade wins, and we're all close. The league's just like last season. The league's wide open, so any given Wednesday, anyone can beat anyone.
The one thing I did hear from this game, and I'm sorry I've forgotten the name, but there was a big blast from JFK. Home run that brought in 2 or 3 runs, I think was the difference maker here. So, one play, one pitch, one kick, and turn it all around.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Speaking of turning it around, every pitch being important, the Moose Knuckles got out to a big 7-0 lead over Peanut Butter and Jelly Time. PBJ looked dead in the water until the 5th inning when they just exploded, put the pressure on. It ended up a 7-5 final. But that is an impressive comeback for a new team who's, they haven't won any games yet, but they continue, I think, to, they're putting together some impressive showings, not so much in the scores or wins, but, how they fight back. And you played them last week, last week, and they just, they're fighters.
Yeah, they are, and like I said last week, don't underestimate PBJ. This is a team that is consistently getting better week over week, and we've seen that in the first 3 weeks of the season. Coming back, to have that resolve, 5 runs in the 5th inning, don't count them out. Brian's over here laughing or giggling. What's so funny over there?
Our producer does not agree.
Yeah,
here.
apparently he is laughing at PB&J getting better. He must have some sort of personal ties on it. But I was talking to Mark.
The week 4 matchup is PB&J.
So we'll get to that. Okay,
yeah.
yeah, absolutely. We might have to get Brian from around the camera over here to chime in his 2 cents since he thinks everything's funny. But
it doesn't funny about this podcast.
That is going to be really loud on that video. It's going to be so loud.
Good.
But PB&J, and this is a little foreshadowing to the gambling lines. I look for them to possibly get over that hump next week. But, good showing. I was talking to Mark after the game, and he was giving me a little bit of what was going down and a couple of miscues that PB&J could have had to kind of offset that loss. And I look for them to have a good showing in week 4.